How to overcome indecisiveness. All right, so one component of indecisiveness is this thing called analysis paralysis, right? So it's like you're stuck analyzing every potential outcome because you want to make like the good outcome, and you want to get rid of the bad, you only want the good, right? So it's like you analyze everything to try and like figure out all like the factors that could bring about the event, right? And one of the other usual fallacies present in like indecisiveness and like analysis paralysis is the idea that I need to be certain before I can make the decision. And it's interesting that you sort of mentioned it there, because it's basically how to feel like a choice is a good choice. It's like, which is what it's really getting at is I need to be certain before I commence the action, right? It's basically the gist of it. Now, interestingly, certainty actually improves the more you do the action. So it's a bit paradoxical, where the indecisive brain will be like, I need to know everything before I do the thing. But interestingly, the more you start getting closer to doing it and actually doing the thing, the more that the certainty comes about, right? Easy example. You're in the gym. You're looking at dumbbells. They're pretty big. You're not sure if you can lift them. So you decide, shit, I need to be certain I can lift those dumbbells before I can lift them, right? Or you can flip it and be like, I'm standing in the gym, I see some dumbbells, I'm going to go and lift them to see if I can lift them. And you go over and you go, ooh, and you realize, fuck, my worst fear has come true. Social judgment. Everyone's going to remember me. I got to get the hell out of here. My life is over. Time to change last names and move to Mexico, right? So certainty actually comes about more closely the closer you get to the thing. So yeah. So to feel like a person's having a good decision is like, yeah, you gotta sit back and do a bit of thinking, a little bit. Like you'd be like, all right, if I do this, what could happen? Like you got this is like a bit of the older human intelligence comes about here. Where you sit back and you'd be like, shit, like, what could actually happen? Like, if I do this, this could happen. Do that, that could happen, right? So you gotta have a bit of like, you could use that brain that we were all kind of given at birth, right? But then ultimately, you can't really know until you do it. You can kind of know if you've done it before, right? So you can look back and be like, yeah, I know what's going to happen because I've done it a million times before. And then you can use that exact principle to govern your behavior moving forward, where it's like, you know, think about all the stuff you've done in the past that you know how it's going to go down if you encountered a similar situation in the future, because you've already got the past experience, because you've already gone through the trial and tribulation, right? So you can look back and see that certainty was possible. You became more certain of a thing because you have the experience, because you actually did the behavior, right? And that exact same principle applies to future behaviors, where you need to do like a bit of thinking up front and be like, what could happen here? And then eventually you have to actually like do the thing to figure out what is actually going to happen, right? And then eventually you'll have the experience, and then you can look back on it and be like, see, certainty was inevitable. I knew what was actually going to happen. And then you can use that experience to govern future behaviors of like, well, I know you have your past experience, and then you can use that to predict future behavior.